Okay, so when will CyberTruck production begin, and at what rate will the ramp-up happen? So this year has been just a constant struggle with parts supply. So just to be clear, if we had like 5 extra products, we would not change our vehicle output at all, because we were just basically limited by multiple supply chain shortages, like so many supply chain of so many types. Not just chips, there were lots of supply chain shortages. So it really wouldn't matter if we had like the Semi or the Cybertruck or anything, we would just not be able to make it. And the Semi in particular needs a lot of cells. So it needs a lot of cells, a lot of chips, and so that will be, we got to have enough, otherwise it's pointless. So I think most likely what we'll see is Cybertruck start production end of next year, and then reach volume production in 2023. And hopefully we can also be producing the Semi and the new Roadster in 23 as well. So we should be through our severe supply chain shortages in 23. I'm optimistic that will be the case. Let's see, will we do a stock split? Well, maybe not yet. Maybe we'll consider a stock split at some point in the future, but I think we'll not quite do that quite yet. Will we see 46.8 battery cell production in Texas? I don't think we will see 4680 production in Texas this year, but we are making 4680s in California at our pilot plant, which is a big plant by normal standards. It's like capable of 10 gigawatt hours a year. So it's just a mile away from our vehicle factory in Fremont. So it's basically that factory will be able to make more than enough cells for Giga Texas to scale production of Model Y. And I do want to emphasize, like, from the point at which a factory is able to start making cars to where it reaches high volume production is typically about a year, and that's considered very fast. So it takes longer, or at least in Tesla land, it takes longer to build the factory than it does to reach volume production once the factory is built. So like in Shanghai, we built the factory in 11 months, but to get to high volume production took about a year. And so I expect something similar here. You know, we'll start production this year, and we'll deliver, I'm confident we'll deliver some cars from Giga Texas this year, Model Ys, but we won't reach high volume production until probably the end of next year. But then I also expect we will reach high volume production in the 4680 cell here in Giga Texas next year as well. More factories. Man, it's hard to build a factory. Yeah, I've said many times that prototypes are easy, production is hard. Like, you know, or whatever, it's like 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. But I think for high volume production, it's like 99% perspiration. I think we might start scouting for locations next year, but I think we can do a lot with Berlin and Berlin and Austin, and expanding in China, and expanding in Fremont. So the nice thing is, like, having at least a factory in Europe and a factory in China, a factory in North America. We at least have factories for our high volume products that are on the continent where most of our customers are. This is great. So we do not, like, one of the biggest challenges we had in Q3 was, can we get enough ships? Like, there was a huge ship shortage. So that was a challenge. And that boat that got stuck in the the Suez Canal caused havoc. So, these things, you don't expect these things, but they happen. So I don't know. We'll probably look at new factory locations, start to investigate them next year, maybe make a decision in 23. Does Tesla plan to offer dividends? We don't currently have plans for dividends. I do kind of feel like the time when a company offers dividends is, it's kind of cresting the hill, if you will. It's usually not, they've run out of things to invest internally. We have not run out of things to invest in internally by a long shot. So. Can we provide a quarterly update on energy along with automotive? Yeah, I mean, we need to make more progress on energy. This year has been limited. Like I said, the chip shortage, the same chips go into our stationary battery packs as in the cars, and we prioritize the cars. So, and we need the inverters for solar and that kind of thing. So, this year has not been a good guide for progress in energy. I think next year it will be probably a good guide, and we can start providing updates that I think people would interpret correctly, as opposed to, having to explain, well, we either had to short cars or energy, and we picked cars. So, all right. Yeah, Model 2 is not a car. There's no Model 2. 3 means E. So we're Model 3. We try to we're going to call it the Model E, but then Ford threatened to sue us, and so we said, well, let's call it the Model 3. So it's S3XY instead of, Anyway. Gigafactory is getting bigger with each iteration. Not all Gigafactories will get bigger with each iteration, I think, but yeah, most of them will. They'll get more advanced and more efficient. And looking at sort of taking a first principles approach to manufacturing, you want to look at the volumetric efficiency of a factory and the average speed of a factory. Is kind of like the rocket equation, where delta V is like exhaust velocity times the log of the start to end mass ratios. So I think it's something similar to that for a factory. And you can also think of it like a chip. Like, do you make chips, get more out of chips by making them bigger, or by bringing things closer together and increasing the clock speed? And actually, I think there's tremendous opportunity in factories to actually bring things closer together and increase the cycle time, or clock speed. And there's actually, I think, tremendous opportunity to improve the efficiency of factories. And Tesla's long-term competitive advantage will be manufacturing, because all cars will be electric. Eventually, all cars will be autonomous. The thing that's the hardest to, I think, sort of match Tesla on or copy is manufacturing. And so I think that will be the long-term advantage of Tesla. Yeah, limiting factor to growth is engineering. Yeah, there's really not a factory stamping out amazing engineers. So it's hard to, you've got to basically recruit people. You've got to kind of train them in the right way, and this just takes time. And sometimes companies think you could just hire anyone with an engineering degree, slap them together, and get amazing stuff. This is not the case at all. Often adding more engineers to a program makes it go slower. So, and the excellence of an engineer matters tremendously. There are the huge differences in engineering talent that boggles the mind. But I do wonder today, if Nikola Tesla applied to Tesla, would we even give him an interview? I'm not sure we would. You know, it was like, we should, obviously. That does concern me. Like, I think we could do a better job of vetting resumes. And really, we're just looking for evidence of exceptional ability, like not whether somebody graduated from a particular school or whatever, but like just 3 bullet points, evidence of exceptional ability. And do you say wow after you read those 3 bullet points? Then great. That should be the approach. Okay. I'm actually a big fan of the original VW sort of bus. That was really cool. I haven't really seen the new one, but yeah, I mean, I think over time Tesla will make basically, all major variants of vehicle. Why not? One in every significant category, I think. Yeah. All right. So from, I guess people can see these slides, right? So I need to read the question. Yeah, I think we're actually making rapid progress with Solar Roof. Solar in general and energy in general got kind of shortchanged for a couple of years there because we're desperately trying to make the Model 3 and reach volume production. So we just moved everyone from anywhere in the company that could possibly work on Model 3 was working on Model 3. It was all hands on deck, as you know. So there were just a couple of years where we just, if we got to save, if Model 3 fails, the whole company's dead. So we're just going to move everyone from Solar from everywhere to help with Model 3. So we're a couple of years behind on that. But I think we're now making rapid progress with the Solar Roof, and in particular with new home builders. Obviously, the most efficient way to get a solar roof is to put it on, put a roof on once, instead of, like doing retrofit is obviously fundamentally more expensive than doing solar roof on new homes. So we now have relationships with a number of new home builders, and we expect those to gather significant momentum, and then we're going to have a campaign which is kind of like, well, I'm dating myself here. I want my MTV. So I want my solar roof. Where is it? So, I think we'll just get people actively asking in new home developments, well, does it have a solar roof and a power wall? And, because then, you generate your own power, and you can help stabilize the rest of the grid using the power wall. And we're doing this in partnership with utilities. Like, the thing that I think people need to appreciate is that there's a lot more electricity production that needs to occur as we move to an electric vehicle future. For 2 homes where both cars are electric, the electricity usage will approximately double. And so if you don't have local power production at the homes with a battery, because the battery's got to buffer the power. Otherwise, if you just have solar without batteries, it causes these massive waves in the grid, and so you have to have the batteries to stabilize the grid. But those batteries can then act collectively to stabilize the whole grid, and that's software that we've developed that is, I think, first going to go into use in Australia. That's going to be, I think, quite compelling. But you really need, for a sustainable energy future, you have to address electricity at the homeowner level. This is essential. But there will still be a very prosperous future for utilities because electric power will approximately double, and then if you transition heating to electric as well, it approximately triples. So this is a lot of work, both at the local level of electricity distribution and at the utilities. Utilities got to expand, and there's got to be solar and batteries at the homeowner level. But having a Tesla Solar with battery means that you have power no matter what. If the utility shuts you off or for any reason, you still have power. When I was here in the Austin blizzard, it's like I was staying at a friend's house, but he didn't have the solar roof and battery, so I'm sitting in the dark, in the cold, and I was like, okay, it really brings home the need for the solar roof and battery. So anyway, so I think that's I think solar roof will see massive growth in the years to come. Yeah, 10.2 is going out tomorrow night. Yeah. Anyway, this is too much inside baseball on FSD, but we're going to start rolling out the FSD beta to all customers with a perfect safety driving record tomorrow night at midnight California time, and then we'll see how that goes. And we want to be very cautious about the rollout. If that's looking good, then we'll, because there's like a little over 1,000 people that have a perfect score, then we'll start giving it to people with a 99, 90, 98, 97, and so forth. We'll probably have to have some cutoff. It's like 60%. I don't know. I don't know. But it's got to be. We're looking for people who are extremely conscientious drivers for the beta program. But it's looking really good. I actually drove here from the friend's house I'm staying at in Austin, which is quite far away and has quite a complicated drive. And the car took me all the way from my friend's house to the Gigafactory with no interventions. So perfect drive. Yeah. All right, are those all the questions? Or I guess we take some from audience. Sure. Or you can just yell or whatever. I don't know. Hey. When will we not need to do any more mining for batteries? Basically, it'll be a while because we've got to extend the fleet. So the fleet of cars out there is gigantic. There's about 2 billion cars and trucks in use in the world. So that's a lot. So annual global capacity for vehicles is 100 million a year, roughly. Which kind of makes sense. Like cars and trucks tend to last about 20 years before they go to the junkyard. So that's an important statistic to bear in mind. Like even if all cars and all vehicles were electric tomorrow, it would still take 20 years to change out the fleet. So I think people don't, you see a lot of noise and sort of stories about electric vehicles, but the fleet is what matters. And still, it's basically rounds down to nothing. If you look at total fleet of vehicles on Earth, and electric cars at this point, I think are still well under 1% of the fleet. So, but I don't know, probably 30 years-ish, 30, 40 years? Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah. Yeah, and I think, just to clarify a few things that are sometimes misunderstood out there, lithium is extremely plentiful. It is one of the most plentiful things on Earth. It is not rare at all. It's hard to avoid lithium. If you said, where can we dig a bunch of rock that doesn't have some lithium in it, you would have a hard time. It's in seawater. Basically, lithium is a salt. So where is there salt? There's a little bit of salt pretty much everywhere. So it's lithium everywhere. So that's not an issue. Also, lithium is only like maybe 1 or 2% of the cell. And so the actual thing that matters is the cathode. Most of our, actually, our long-range vehicles use a nickel-based cathode, and sometimes people think it's a cobalt-based cathode. No, cobalt is used in phones and laptops, but we use nickel because nickel has higher energy density for long-range vehicles. But for our standard range vehicles and for stationary storage, I think all of that will move to iron-based, iron cathodes. And iron is also extremely plentiful. Nickel is not rare, but there's, I don't know, maybe 10 to 100 times more iron than there is nickel. So, so moving to an iron-based chemistry, which is sort of finally at the point where it's competitive on range when combined with an efficient powertrain. I think that will be the vast majority of batteries in the future will be iron-based. So I do not see any shortages. It's just a question of making all the equipment to kind of process that into a cell and then into a pack. Oh, off-planet factory. I like the way you think. So, how many years before Tesla's first off-planet factory? I mean, I'd like to see one before I'm dead. That would be cool. So I don't know, what have we got, like 40 years-ish? Hopefully before I'm dead, basically. That'd be great. What's my safety score? Oh, great question. I don't know, actually. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'll check. I'll check because I think it's mine just got turned on. Yeah, good. I'll find out. By the way, our safety score calculation is obviously imperfect. That's why we try to emphasize very much that it is beta, if not alpha, in safety score calculation. So it's going to get a lot of changes. Yeah, expected to improve in its accuracy substantially over time. This is really just, it's a very early stage algorithm. Oh, is there anything we can do with the grid system here? Yeah, in fact, Tesla is doing a number of projects in Tesla, in Texas, Tesla, Texas. We've got a large battery project, I believe, in the Houston area. Yeah, it's Houston area. Sorry? Yeah, we're doing 100 megawatts in the Houston area. We're talking to ERCOT about doing other major installations. The Tesla Megapack system is actually really great at dealing with power fluctuations. So if you look at power usage, it varies dramatically during the day. So you get, particularly on a summer day or a winter day, if you've got electric heating or electric cooling, then you're going to see big spikes on hot or cold days. So just even during the day, you see big variances, and then from when, like, in order for a power, if a power grid has no sort of energy storage buffer, then it's as resilient as the worst second of the worst day of the worst year. So that's obviously not great. And they'll throw peaker plants in there, but if the peaker plant is reliant on natural gas, and then people start using natural gas for heating, which is kind of what happened in Austin. People were using the gas to heat, then the peaker plants didn't have the gas. You're like, okay, but batteries would work great. So if there'd been Tesla Megapacks here during the blizzard, the power would not have gone out. Target capacity for the Megapack factory. No, I don't actually know what the target capacity is, but it's big. 40 gigawatt hours. Okay, 40 gigawatt hours. Yeah. Actually, that's an example of where we are expanding. Also, we're expanding manufacturing in California. So this is in Lathrop, California. We just opened a big Megapack production facility. Sorry, it's difficult to hear. Tesla insurance. Yeah, so like the degree to which insurance is a regulatory labyrinth is insane. It was like designed to be hard. It's the feeling you got. I don't know if it's designed, but it certainly is very difficult. So there's a zillion applications, and you have to wait for a bunch of time and get. Well, it's long and complicated, and a lot of it is state by state. Most of it is state by state. So, so we're processing applications in states across the country, and then the states also have different regulations. So you can't, actually aren't legally allowed to offer the same insurance in every state. So you got to adjust the software to be different in every state. It's basically very complicated. But I think we'll be offering it in Texas very soon, and like maybe in a month or something. Next week, great. Phone a friend. So Tesla Insurance goes live in Texas next week, and I knew it was this month, but and then we have it in California. We're going to be upgrading the version in California because in California we want to have the same kind of real-time insurance where your insurance costs are based on your actual driving history. Which is like the right way to do it. But we're currently not allowed to do that in California for some reason. So we're trying to get permission from the regulators to be allowed to give accurate scores for insurance. Seems like that's the thing you'd want to do. And then hopefully, I don't know, we'll probably have most of the country next year, aspirationally. That's our goal. I'm really getting into the weeds here. So we're definitely going to be making CyberTruck here, and so probably the ATV too. So the ATV is an interesting design challenge because ATVs are pretty dangerous, and so we want to make an ATV that is the least dangerous ATV. So if you're going to ATV, well, you might as well have the least dangerous ATV, So it'll have a really low center of gravity because the battery pack will be down low, and I think we can do some things with the suspension. Just make it really hard to roll this thing, So because when ATVs roll is when bad things happen. So it's going to be the ATV that won't roll. So it'll be cool. You got to have one with a CyberTruck, Okay, so I'll take one last question. Yeah. Oh, what about electric planes? Yeah. Well, we have a lot on our plate here. But electric planes, I've been dying to do that for a decade, honestly. But we got quite a few fish to fry here. So maybe one day the electric plane. And battery energy density is improving every year, so that's an important metric to get the cell energy density to around 450, 500 watt-hours per kilogram, and have a pack efficiency of around 400 watt-hours per kilogram. That's when electric planes start to get interesting. So I don't know, it'd be a fun problem to work on at some point, but we got a lot to do over the next few years. So we're going to focus on these things, get them right, and then maybe one day do that. All right, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for being here. Right.